people, it's Newbie back again for whatever episode this is, but little different. You see, today I'm not in the train room because, as I said in the last video, oh, by the way, thanks for watching and welcome back, and sorry it's been so long since the last one. I'm getting anyway, since the last video I've been working on, I mentioned computerizing and working with the JMRI software and trying to figure out how to automate the switches on the layout. So in doing my research and figuring out what to do with that, I realized that, well, as you know, I have two types of switches on my layout in general. I have the Atlas type snap switches, and then I have Kato switches, and they're operated differently. The Kato switches, of course, as you may know, are 2-wire, and they flip the polarity to change direction. And the Atlas switches are 3-wire, and they use a common and flip between one direction and the other to change the polarity flips to change the switches. So they're all DC. And so what I decided to do was I decided to break it down into two separate projects, if you will. And one being, since I've got, I think I've got 17 or 18 of the Kato switches, I thought I would just concentrate on the Kato switches first and getting those set up and operational. And then I'll go back and I'll do all the snap switches and the Atlas switches, and which are mostly in the yard area. And so, but the main line is all Kato switches. So that's the way I decided to do this. And the reason I'm here in my office is because I've been doing this on my computer here in the office, and my intention is that I'm going to do all the design work here and then transfer it to the laptop that I got from Donna, as I said before. So let me show you what we're up to. Okay, so I've got the camera turned around now so that you can basically see two screens. This is one screen and this is the other one. And so there's basically two individual screens here that you see. As I'm moving my mouse around, you can follow it on the screen. Now, what this is as you can see here, maybe it'd be better for me to use a pointing device instead of just use that pointer. So you see here, we have the layout of the Newbie Mountain Railroad. And I transferred all this into JMRI's Panel Pro, and I identified all the switches. And you see, one of the things that I can do with this is I can put the cursor on a given switch and click it, and it will actually change the switch. And here, let me zoom in a little bit here and go down so you can see that switch again. So this is the double crossover on the far west end of the yard area, and you see I have it labeled here as East double crossover. And if I click on it, you can see that it changed the direction so that the crossover is operational. And and it turned red, so that tells me that that's no longer in the main line operated direction. Another one here, you see this is the what I'm calling the parking siding, east end yard parking siding. So this is the east end of the yard parking siding, which is this siding here. And if I click that, you see that the dark blue line, which is the main line, and the light blue lines are sidings and other lines. So you see here that when I flip that switch, that connection goes this way, and you see there's a little gap there on the main line. And we go back, click it again, and then we go over here so you can see it. And you go over here, and this is my right here is my program siding, and you see if I can click here, and then that makes this you can't see it too well, but anyway, there's a little gap right there now that I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's the way it works. So anyway, so I've got this all laid out, and it is functional here. Now what I have to do next, and by the way, over here on this screen, let me pull this over. You see, this is my listing of all the switches, and so they're listed by number. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me pull this over here and make it bigger, and now you can't see it either, so there, maybe you can make that out. But anyway, you see each switch is numbered, and then I have in this they're numbered here. I don't know why it starts at 2 because I started at 1. Oh, they're not in order here. I'm sorry. They go alphabetically by what I called them. So you see NT number 1 is up here, and it says East double crossover, which coincides with this switch right here. And then, so that's the way you do it. You just make this table for all your switches, and then you tell, on the drawing, you tell them which switch is which, and that's the way it works. So anyway, so I've got that part done. And if we zoom back out here. So the connectivity is all functional, and you see up here in the mountain area, you see the dotted lines indicate that the track is in tunnels, and you know, and so you see the faint blue lines in here from my station siding and my power plant, and then this is my reverse loop here and reverse loop there. So that's the way it works. Now, all of these switches that are in red in here are the snap switches that I haven't programmed yet, and I haven't got into this yet. I'll get to that later. But where we are now is we want to begin to building the interface so that this JMRI software and Panel Pro and so forth can talk to each individual switch. And of course I have to first of all, I have to wire the switches. You know, the wires are just hanging there under the track right now. I have to wire those switches into a module that will interpret the signal coming from JMRI to the switch and cause the switch to actually throw. And to do that, I'm going to be using, as I said before, I'm going to be using an Arduino, and I'm going to be doing the coding on an Arduino so that I can address each one of these 17 switches, and then the rest of these in the yard area once I get there. So that's where it is today. That's about all I've got to talk about today, and that's what I've been doing. And it looks like it's going to work out okay. Still got considerable amount of work to do to get it actually operational, but that's the plan. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, hit that little red button down there in the corner. And by the way, I have a few hats left. If anybody else is interested in getting one of my JMR, one of my Newbie Mountain Railroad NMR hats, we still have some in stock. And so if you'll just send me an email, and I'll email back and forth with you, and we'll get that done. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time when we'll see what's going to happen.